Guys, welcome back. I first should be wearing a color other than dark blue. This is dark blue, this is the wolf shirt. Okay, so God of the day is going to be Satan. Before you unsub, I do not mean Hollywood Satan. I don't mean the Satan people are afraid their kids are worshipping. I just mean Satan of hugs. And are you okay? And are you having another freak out again? And what's going on? Now, there are a lot of people that are going to tell you full stop, Satan and Loki are the same exact entity, and that, they have a lot of traction with that because they say they feel the same exact function. They're both seen as outsiders in their respective religions, and there's a problem with the word religion, but you know what I mean. In their respective faiths, they're both seen as the outsider, the outcast, but they're the ones that give stuff moving, and they're usually the ones that bring a lot of freedom and a lot of intellectual creativity, so they're both seen as the hero because, Loki gets us moving. Loki gets us moving, and sometimes Loki's lessons can be very painful, and we can hate him bunches, and we can tell him we hate him while it's going on. He's like, good. But Loki's one of the good guys. Loki loves you. Loki will give you lots of Loki hugs when all the hard stuff's over, and Loki can be kind of sweet and kind of a brat. To me, Satan feels different. Satan will give just as many hugs and spend just as much quiet time and spend just as much time talking with you and showing you love and affection. But for me, he's like, you have enough people to teach you hard lessons. You have enough people like Loki and Odin feel a hard time lesson is their stuff. But for me, he's really good with panic attacks, especially if it's satanic panic. Like, Satan's here, God's gonna drop the roof on us. That was actually last night. It's funny now, but last night I was absolutely convinced, guys, that the God of the church was gonna drop the roof on us because Satan was talking to me. And Loki looks at me and goes, I'm a god. I'm not dropping the roof. Eh. And do you think some other god is stronger than me? Well, let me tell you something. So I don't mean, Hollywood Satan. I don't mean sign a contract in blood Satan. I don't mean sacrifice animal Satan. I don't mean death metal Satan. I just mean, Satan. To me, he's a forgotten god. I feel he's a forgotten god that they picked up the name and it's probably corrupted from the original name. And I'm just saying corrupted because technically I think Jesus should be either Jesse or Joshua. So they have a long track record of getting the name corrupted. That's all I mean by corrupted. Mistranslated might be better. So we have the name Satan, and some people will say Satan and Lucifer are for the same entity, and some people will want to throw down, have a big fight. And some people will say Morning Star, and we laugh because there's a vegan line of breakfast foods called Morning Star Farms, and we just laugh and we lose it. Now, I know Lucifer, vaguely met him once as the Italian entity of light, as the god associated with being a torchbearer and being associated with Venus, because they would say he was the male torchbearer running through and he was bringing light and illumination. So Satan kind of absorbed that quality too, because most people are like, Satan, Lucifer, same exact being. For me, he's all about treating ourselves well, but he's also kind of a little bit merciless in that he'll take his rose glasses and go, snap. It's not that we can't have a positive attitude. He's all for that. He's all about loving people. He's all about kind. He's all about helping the homeless and, donating to charity. But he's not about being blindly naive. If you see people doing wrong, you see people doing wrong. It doesn't mean you have to stop loving the person, but it means you see the bad they've done. Like, if I wanted to go to church tomorrow, I really wouldn't care, but he's like, you have to look at the bad they've done. This can't all be some grand, Illuminati level conspiracy where the Protestants are making all this stuff up or people are just saying all these horrible things for money. He goes, baby, you've got to see the bad and then decide if the good outweighs it. And he won't take that choice away from you because he's about personal freedom. That much, the people that worship him in other directions, and I'm not judging, are right about. He's about personal freedom. And he's all about the Pinterest board we have together. And I put these sappy, cute devil, things, and I have it private because I know how people get, and he knows I get my feelings hurt when I see, a lot of atheists hijack Satan, and they're like, very nasty and belligerent, and they write these absolutely spiteful pins where they spit on everybody else's religion. Satan has nothing to do with that, unfortunately. He's not going to stop anyone's free will, so he gets hijacked for a lot of nasty stuff. But he's not about hurting people. He's especially not about hurting ourselves. He's not about sacrificing cute little animals to him, especially goats. Oh, gods, no. He's not about inverse Catholicism. It's not, you do not have to turn crosses upside down and do Hollywood devil magic. It's nothing like that. He's about personal freedom, and he's about healing, and he's about looking at the stuff in your life that made you the way you are. And for me, it was being raised Catholic, be told already, and we've discussed this before, that I'm definitely going to hell because God really doesn't like women. God hates gay people, and God doesn't like witches, and he doesn't like people that worship other gods. So I'm absolutely going to hell. So Satan understands that that name is heavily charged, and he's like, I'm not even affiliated with the church. So it's not the biblical Satan we're talking about either. It's not Satan fell from heaven, da da da. People can work with these entities and get a response. The Satan I'm working with is an old god. I wouldn't equate him exactly with Jupiter. I wouldn't equate him exactly with any of the wealth deities because he's more about, he will take care of you, but your spiritual needs and putting your life back together are more important. So it's not, and sometimes this is a big bump down to the ground. This is not the Satan of sign a contract today and literally tomorrow, as comic books, movies, and literature have taught us, you will have everything you want. It's not, I signed a contract with Satan tonight at midnight and tomorrow I have, $15 million in a mansion and a pool and I'm traveling the world. That is never going to happen. But, he can make your life better, and he can, kind of sit you down and have you deal with, reality versus fantasy. And he knows you're kind of bummed out because he knows everybody thinks Satan shows up and just hands you everything you want and smiles and tells you to have a nice life and then comes collect you at the end. He goes like, no, I'm sorry. I mean, you could come live with me if you want after a long, full life, but, he can't do that. He says, just have some faith, just have some trust, this stuff is coming. Now, he is the one that will also break you of the idea that any of these things you want are bad and sinful. Only because seeing something as bad and sinful is what makes it so alluring in the first place. If fast food companies didn't market on the idea that their food's a little naughty and a little sinful, we wouldn't want it. If they were like, yeah, it's a cheeseburger, you can take it or leave it, nobody would go eat that. If they go, it's a cheeseburger. Nobody wants you to eat cheeseburgers and play that slow kind of like softcore porn music in the background. The commercials I'm talking about, and the cheese is going everywhere and they're tearing the burger apart. If they didn't do that, you wouldn't want it. And he's like, you can love cheeseburgers, you can love fast food, you can love sex, you can love all the stuff you want, but don't love it to the point where you abuse it. So he will be the first one to, like, if you feel like you have an addiction or something, to actually get you to help. I know, he's like no fun compared to the scene we're all thinking about. And I'm getting good-natured smile back there because he knows what I mean. He is very loving. He will give you those hugs like Loki will give you those hugs, and he will make things better. But I think people are profoundly disappointed when they find out he is not the god of dark gothic power to, give you 30 demons to send out after people and make you this dark, powerful princess. I mean, why the hell wouldn't you be running a country by now if he could give you that kind of power? And he's not responsible for Trump, by the way. Whether you love or hate Trump, Trump did not sign a contract with him. No world leader signed a contract with him. He's not responsible for that. Don't blame Satan. He's not responsible for the way people treat him, but he's not going to give you a legion of demons to hurt people with. Nor because we don't hurt people. We just don't. It's not something any demon, and remember, demon's just a word for wise one or enlightened one, or some people will say lesser god, or old god, which a lot of us pagans are a lot more comfortable saying. None of the old gods want us to hurt people. I don't care if you're dealing with Pazuzu, or Lilith, or Mammon, or Satan, or Lucifer, or whatever name you use. They don't want us to hurt people. And you don't have to look very long or very hard into lists of supposed demons. And I'm just saying supposed because They will take old gods that we know and love and work with, and they will just list them as demons. Like I saw Bastet listed as a demon, and I saw her little ears go back, and I heard, "Oh, if someone tries to summon me, I'm going to hurt them." And I'm like, okay, calm down, mom. And it was just this thing of, yeah, do not, for the love of the gods, do not draw a satanic pentagram on the ground and try to summon him in the middle. He's going to be kind of pissed. It's not Hollywood. It's not Hollywood magic. It's not, something any of us that grew up listening to metal or reading scary comic books or watching horror movies saw. It's nothing like that at all. He doesn't have a problem with that. I think he's kind of amused, but at the same time, he's like, we don't hurt people. That's not right. He is about freedom, though, which is why a lot of people are attracted to him. He's kind of like Loki, do as you will, and if you hurt yourself, you're going to learn a fine lesson. That sounds kind of mean, but in a way, that's why some people would equate him to, like, say, Hades. Oh, Hades is more like, okay, go ahead, play with the hot stove, see what happens to you when you get burnt. I'm still gonna feel bad for you, but nothing teaches like pain. Satan's the same way. He's like, okay, go do this stupid thing. As long as you're not going to get hurt, as in the hospital hurt. He'll be like, go do this stupid thing. Play with the stove, and once you get hurt, don't kick the stove and don't expect me to send it to the infernal regions. But you'll learn to never touch a stove again. You'll learn to be careful. If you're working in a kitchen, sometimes people get really absent-minded. You will reach into a hot stove exactly once without anything on your hands. You will learn that lesson, you will never do it again. You will learn because you get so used to the heat working in a kitchen, you don't think. You will learn never to put your hand in a hot stove again. It's a great teacher, and it's not that, nobody made you do that, you just weren't thinking. So he's kind of that kind of teacher of like, it's going to hurt, but it's not going to hurt too bad because, like, especially if you're working in a kitchen, everybody stops everything, make sure you get treatment. Everybody's pretty good about that. There's emergency cure, cure kit right there. If it's not there, they'll run to another department. But he's the one of, like, practical lessons like Loki is, and he's the one about becoming a better person. So, like, if you're looking for fun Hollywood Satan, I'm sorry, you're not gonna find him here. He would have us see, and he would have us learn. There's nothing wrong with having money. There's nothing wrong with having sex. There's nothing wrong with having fun. There's nothing wrong with having parties, having good food, and anything. The only wrong thing comes when we do it to the point where we start hurting ourselves, and only we know when that point is. Some people could spend $1 million literally every day and be fine. They're just built that way. Some people could spend so much every day and just feel guilty and sad. It's about finding out where limits are, finding out how to have a healthy relationship with, say, money and food and sex and entertainment and everything else. Feeling free to do whatever you want. It's not like you can have 2 cheeseburgers, but 3 cheeseburgers is suddenly bad and Satan's frowning at you. It's like, if you could eat those 3 cheeseburgers and you felt fine, great. If you feel guilty, or you're starting to feel sick, or your body's starting to run down, maybe you shouldn't be eating that, man. Nothing to do with sin. It just has to do with how do you feel. Do you feel better? Do you feel worse? So he was the one that will do unfun things like Loki will. Like, we're looking at your diet, we're looking at your sleep patterns, we're looking at what you do, we're looking at if you meditate. Are you meditating? Because if you're not meditating, you're going to meditate. He's almost like your sweet grandma in a way. And, if he has to appear or he wants to amuse himself, he can appear as Satan, red skin, wings, everything else. Or if you saw a comic of a demon and you thought that demon looked cute, like there's this gay demon comic, and the demon's adorable. He will appear like that, or he'll appear as some Hollywood character that played him or something. He does have a great sense of humor, but at the end of the day, he's just like Loki. He will take the comic books and the movies and the music out of our hand and be like, okay, you have to look at me now. This is me. I'm not fighting the church. I'm not fighting God. I don't care how you vote. Just be a good person. Can you do that for me? I know, disappointing, right? Satan's a good guy. I know. It's like, that takes 99.9% of your motivation to work with him out of you, doesn't it? And you pagans know what I mean. It's like, I'm sorry, guys, he is not the one magical lottery system, believe me. I have tried. I've known him off and on for decades, and I have tried it, and it's like, no, there are no contracts, baby. I have no black book. There are no contracts. They cut all this stuff out of people with torture. They made it up. It's fiction. It doesn't exist. I am sorry. If I had a contract, you would sign one just to shut you up, even though I love you, but it doesn't exist. So, some people have a totally different experience, but just kind of please be careful, guys. A lot of people get attracted to that very dark, very negative thing, and they're not. There are some good people that are walking a dark path, and there are some dangerous people walking a dark path. If your, instincts are kicking in and telling you to run away, run away. Okay? If you made a mistake, you can apologize later. But, if your instincts are telling you there's something wrong with it, then, you watch yourself. It's not everybody that does, dark path Satanism is not a bad person, but at the same time, dark people, as in bad people, will get attracted to places where it's already set up in their favor. So do be careful. But you have bad people in the church too, so may the odds be ever in your favor. I'm getting yay back there. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.